12 players the experts are targeting in drafts. Let's dive in. Before we get rolling, we have another fantastic giveaway for courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction. If you want a chance to win a signed Gabriel Davis Buffalo Bills jersey courtesy of Pristine Auction, all you have to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that is it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's dive into these players. Okay, first player up on the docket, Ramaadree Stevenson. Ramaadree Stevenson is a guy that the experts love, and it's not hard to see why. 3 games last year with above 50% of the snaps. Guy averaged 22.3 touches, 99.6 total yards per game. And if you don't think those numbers are fantastic enough, ooh, baby, I've got more for you. 12th in yards after contact per attempt, 8th in yards per route run. If Stevenson can handle the entire workload this year, which he showed he did it last year, and he can get some more pass game involvement, because we still know that James White is not fully healthy, Stevenson can explode. So better be with the experts on this one. Next player up, Trey Lance. Trey Lance, we know the rushing is part of his game. So Trey Lance right now, the floor is basically for him to be this year's version of Jalen Hurts, even if he is terrible as a passer, which there's upside to be had in the passing game. Trey Lance last year, amongst all quarterbacks with 80 or more dropbacks, second in ADOT, right in front of Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Lamar Jackson. Now, his wide receivers didn't do him a lot of help last year, or didn't give him a lot of help. He had the 8th highest drop rate that he had to deal with when he was under center. Now, we know this is a really talented skill player group around him. We got George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel, just to name a few guys. So you know the talent, and that's going to come back to the median. The talent is there to help prop up Trey Lance in the passing game, even if he does have some struggles. We know the rushing equity is there because the 2 games that he started last year, he averaged 12 rushing attempts and 60 rushing yards per game. It's not hard to see why the experts love him, and you should too. Number 3, Isaiah Spiller. Spiller is a versatile back, and he's getting airdropped into a fantastic offense, one of the league's best offenses. Spiller commanded a 9.7% collegiate target share, which was a 76th percentile mark last year. In 2021, he also rattled off the highest 10-plus yard run rate versus other highly touted backs that people love a lot more. Like you have Ken Walker, 16.7% of his runs were 10 or more yards. Breece Hall, 14.2%. Oh, and look at that. A player that actually eclipsed Breece Hall, but he's not getting near the hype in his percentage of 10-plus yard runs. Isaiah Spiller was sitting at 15.9%. That is magical. Now, he might not have the long speed to break the home run plays that we want in fantasy. If he can rattle off chunk plays, ground rule doubles, if you will, consistently in this Chargers offense, and he steals work away from Austin Eckler, there is a reason to be higher on him than consensus this year, especially if you look at the fact that he is a scheme versatile back. He excelled in missed tackles forced percentage on inside zone, outside zone, gap runs, and the Chargers deploy all of these. So it could be wheels up for Isaiah Spiller in 2022. Drake London is the next player on this list. Now, Drake London, my love for Drake London is well known, but the experts agree with me on this one. And they should. Drake London averaged a ridiculous 14.8 targets, 11 receptions, and 135.5 receiving yards per game. Let those numbers simmer for a second. Let that just slowly soak into your soul and understand that Drake London is that type of talent. Now marry that with he has a 99th percentile breakout age, 82nd percentile collegiate target share, and he was 12th in yards per route run against man coverage and 2nd against zone last year. Drake London could be this year's breakout monster rookie wide receiver, so you need to be above consensus on him. Next player up here, we're talking about raw talent, we're talking about good offenses, Albert Okwube. If you're looking for a tight end to agree with the experts on that he is going too late, you need to be in on this tight end. One, because Denver is going to be a really good offense, but also in the small sample sizes that Albert Okwube has been given targets, hell, earned targets in the Denver offense. He has been fantastic. 5th in yards per route run over each of the last 2 seasons, 7th and 4th in yak per reception, and if he would have qualified with enough targets, this man would have been 3rd and 1st in target per route run rate. If those numbers don't get you excited about Albert Okwube, I don't know what will. Speaking of exciting, maybe polarizing, the next player on our list that the experts love right now and are targeting in their drafts is Gabriel Davis. This is a player that's been talked about all out on social media. You've heard the pros and the cons. The experts are in on Gabriel Davis, and you should be too. Looking at him last year, if you look at the regular season and postseason, he was 13th in yards per route run. Now, if you take out the monster game in the postseason, yes, he drops to 47th in this metric. And that might not sound great or glittering, and maybe we should be fading him at his high cost. We know the Buffalo Bills are going to run a lot of plays. They're going to be top 5 in pace, top 5 in passing rate. They're going to be top 5 in scoring. These are the reasons that you want to buy in. And that yards per route run rate that I was talking about, that was still immediately in front of, taking out the massive postseason, immediately in front of Jacoby Myers and Marquise Brown. Those are talented receivers, and so is Gabriel Davis, and he is a plum situation to explode this year. Next player on this list, going back to the rookie well, Breshad Hall. Now, Breshad Hall is going to be running behind an underrated Jets offensive line. You have Connor McGovern and Laken Tomlinson, who were both finished last year in the top 25 amongst all offensive linemen with 100 or more run blocking snaps and zone run blocking grades. Why is this important? Because the Jets are going to run a lot of zone plays, and this is good for Breshad Hall. Now, last year, again, talking about the offensive line, because we care about offensive line play here, because running backs need running lanes to explode, get upfield, and break long runs, which we all love for fantasy. The Jets offensive line, which improved this offseason with players they brought in, signings, drafted players. Hell, last year, their elites 11 through 18. They were first in non-quarterback yards before contact per attempt. This should tell you that this Jets offensive line is going to plow the road for a running back that we know has the athletic measurables to crush, to explode. He was 7th in missed tackles forced last year, 13th in 10-plus yard runs. Breshad Hall can absolutely pay off, and you need to follow the experts on this one. Number 8, Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman is a love of my heart, and I'm so glad that the rest of our experts are in on him. 26th in route win rate versus man coverage last year. He's rolling right into the X receiver role, which he could play just as well, if not better, than Marquise Brown last year, who was 12th in target share amongst all wide receivers. He was a top 24 wide receiver. And if you head over to reception perception, you look at Matt Harmon's amazing work and how he diagnoses wide receivers and their skill sets. Bateman was 85th in percentile against zone coverage, 81st against press coverage. All this means that he is a lock, set, forget X receiver in the NFL, and he is going to be a fantastic target getting open at will for Lamar Jackson. He is going to gobble up targets all year long. Cadarius Tony is the next player that makes this list, and while Cadarius Tony might not be as polarizing as Gabriel Davis, there are a lot of people out there that are still out on Cadarius Tony. I understand he's had some off-field stuff. I understand that maybe he hasn't jived with the coaching staffs. But it's not to say that the talent is not there, and that's the reason the experts are following him up the ranks. Cadarius Tony was 12th in yards per route run against man coverage last year, 11th in yards per route run overall. He has the talent to explode this year, and if those numbers don't do it for you, let's dive a little bit deeper, shall we? Amongst all wide receivers that had a 29% or higher target per route run rate and 2.2 or higher yards per route run, this is the entire list. Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Antonio Brown, and yes, Cadarius Tony. That raw talent could carry him screaming to the top of fantasy points all year long. It's a player you need to be investing in. Heading right back to the rookie well, got to talk about Treylon Burks. This is not yesteryear's fantasy football. Rookies can hit the ground running, and Treylon Burks can definitely do that this year in Tennessee. Now, I understand the asthma concerns and all the camp reports have not been glittering about Treylon Burks. That doesn't mean that his talent's any bit diminished. His asthma can get under control. This could be a faulty narrative as we walk into the season, and the experts are in on Treylon Burks. He's been 4th and 13th in yak per reception, 3rd and 17th in yards per route run. That is the type of efficiency that we covet, and his explosive play rates have been fantastic. He was used on approximately 22.7 to 21.5% on screen targets over those last 2 seasons. The idea is basically get the ball in Treylon Burks' hands and let him do work. Next player we're going to talk about here is a guy that's been doing work with his massive thighs, and he's been breaking tackles all over the place in Green Bay. A.J. Dillon is a player that the experts are high on this year, and you should be too. A.J. Dillon last year, weeks 10 through 18, 8 games, okay? Top 24 running back in 63% of those games overall in that span. He was the RB16. Now, we know Aaron Jones is going to be healthy, or at least we think so right now. This Green Bay offense can still be really good, and that means scoring opportunities, that means touchdown opportunities for A.J. Dillon, who gobbled up a lot of them last year. 12th in red zone touches last year, 14th in yards after contact per attempt, and he excelled, and he can whittle away a pass game role away from Aaron Jones. So while all the splits favor Aaron Jones without Devontae Adams, do not forget about A.J. Dillon, who was 17th in yards per route run last year. All right, the final running back, another rookie that's going to make this list. Yep, you guessed it, Rashaad White. Now, this is not diving into all of the Leonard Fournette and weight or non-weight issues. We're going to talk about the talent and the offense for Rashaad White and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He commanded a 98th percentile collegiate target share. He had an 88th percentile college dominator. This screams that he was productive when he was at college, and he could translate that to the NFL field, especially in the passing game, where he was 9th in yards per route run and the 3rd highest graded receiving running back in all of college football last year. Now, again, if Rashaad White gets the 3-down role, heck, if Leonard Fournette goes down, he can even carve out a pass game role even if Lenny stays healthy. But if Fournette goes down, you're looking at a possible 3-down running back in one of the league's best offenses. Tampa Bay was 2nd in points per game, 6th in red zone scoring attempts per game, and 2nd in red zone touchdown conversion rate last year. Rashaad White could be a league winner. So as much as you might want to push back against the experts here, you need to be following in their footsteps in your drafts, targeting all of these players, the dozen that I gave you in this video. And hey, before I get out of here, remember, we're giving away a signed Gabriel Davis Buffalo Bills jersey, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction. If you don't remember the steps that you have to do to get entered to win this thing, either rewind this video or listen to me right now. Subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel, comment below on this video, and that's all you have to do. The more comments you give on the video, the more chances you have to win. Enjoy all the great content coming out from FantasyPros, and let's get to drafting and enjoy this fantasy season.
Thanks for tuning in to the FantasyPros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.